Greetings, people. I come in peace. Well, I'm trying anyway. I wasn't going to comment on this fight, or even watch it. But the urge, hope, yearning and desire to see Jake Paul get pulverized was too overwhelming. If only Tyson could turn back the clock. But alas, it wasn't to be. Seeing Mike Tyson walk out with that knee wrap on, stumbling as he walked to the ring, I knew my dream wouldn't come true. Even the look on his face was different. It was as if the loudness of the music and the brightness of the lights was too much. I'm sure he wanted to tell someone to turn the music down, for God's sake. It's getting late. But in all seriousness, when I saw Mike go back to his corner after the first round, it was tragic, lamentable, sad. I felt unclean watching it. Mike showed cameos of what he used to do. He bobbed and weaved a bit, but without his legs, he couldn't get to Jake. I think Jake was surprised how uncomplicated it was, and got on his bike and cruised after a couple of rounds. I hope he's embarrassed, but I don't think narcissists feel guilt or remorse, so that's out of the window. An old wounded champion being teased and played with by a young spoilt brat, using a legend's name for clout and prestige. Can you believe that this will even go on their pro records? Jeez, what is this world coming to? What was Jake Paul even thinking? What can he gain? This is a young man who says he will become champion.
That's enough.
Yes, really. In the ring after the fight, Jake said, Tyson is the GOAT and I'm the GOAT too. Keep in mind, GOAT means greatest of all time. This is just too much. What are we doing here? Jake Paul fights around the cruiserweight limit and says he will be champion one day. Well, unless he buys the belts from Mauricio Suleiman, I don't see how that's possible. He's at least going to have to fight a top 15 fighter. Now, what's the odds of that? He's never fought a real boxer. No, that's wrong. He's fought Ryan Berland, ranked 289th in the world, who they dug up out of a 2-year retirement. He was dispatched in 1 round and went back into retirement. He also fought Andre August, who was ranked 311th in the world. And wait for it, he was knocked out in the first round. You see the pattern here, don't you? I thought the fabrication of Wilder was bad, but this is turbocharged mendacity.
There's nothing more powerful than the odor of mendacity.
So, he's fought 3 real boxers. I use that term loosely. One came out of retirement, one was a 311th ranked novice, and the other was Tommy Fury, who'd only had 8 fights and beat Jake Paul to a points decision. Now, Jake lays claim to an old man, 58 going on 88, internally with all the mental and physical trauma he's been through. How can we count Tyson on Jake's record? That's ludicrous. Jake has only beat 1 active novice out of his 12-bout career. And Jake wants to be a real challenger.
So you wanna be a boxer in the golden ring?
Start fighting boxers in the top 50, 30 or 20 in the world. Not just America. The money seems to easily mitigate the desire to win. And I don't want to see Tony Bellew or Carl Froch coming out of retirement for a payday. That's playing his duplicitous game. Let's see how he fares against the fresh, hungry, young, active boxer. His weight, his height, with a comparable record. The problem is, he's got the money, and that is a big influence on the outcome. And people will be falling over themselves to give him a pass. And the people who are fans of Jake Paul are too gullible, trivial and ignorant to put pressure on him. Could you imagine him fighting Chris Billam-Smith, Richard Riakporhe, Zurdo Ramirez, Jack Massey, David Nyika, Chev Clark? Now, Chev Clark and David Nyika have only 10 fights and are ranked in the top 15 of most, if not all, governing bodies. Could you conceive what Chev and David would do to him? Fighting these old kickboxers, wrestlers and kung fu men hasn't done him any favours. He might look good knocking out jaded, avaricious combatants, mercenaries, but he is sloppy defensively, and that will be exposed if he gets brave enough to challenge more proficient and certified pugilists. especially for titles. Yet now we hear he wants to fight Conor McGregor, a man whose last fight was 3 years ago at lightweight and has spent his time living a decadent life with all the trappings that goes with it. Now a 200-pound cruiserweight wants to fight him. Come on. This was and is bad for boxing. Boxing is supposed to be an honourable sport, not WWE. We are going in the wrong direction fast. What a sham. I don't begrudge Mike Tyson getting a payday, but he was close to death's door a few months ago, and he's suffering from more than old age. He is a sick man. His real fight is to stay alive. Months before this fight, he nearly died. Some say he needed the payday. Well, maybe. Remember, Mike has made more money from boxing than nearly everybody, especially when you account for inflation. He's not in the same position as the old great boxers that die penniless and in obscurity. Don't get me wrong, I don't know Tyson's financial situation. He supposedly got $20 million for less than half an hour's work, and most of us would take that. Yet we haven't got his status, eminence, or rank to think about. He's one of the most iconic boxers ever. He has a successful podcast. He is said to be earning $500,000 a month with his Greens empire. He has a brand of plant called Tyson 2.0, and its parent company is looking to go into partnership with a plant-based food brand. And it's expected that the plant-based food brand market could touch a market value of $16.3 billion by 2027. Not a bad forecast. Not to mention the thousands he could command simply by making personal appearances. Just speaking would earn him a substantial amount of money. He isn't destitute or impoverished like so many other greats of the past, and I hope he never is. So did Tyson do it for glory? Maybe, but if you are debilitated, ailing, and injured, it seems to be an unwise decision to go in the ring with anybody. No, I think he himself said it was the money.
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 Money can buy you certain things, trinkets, and give you a semblance of security and peace of mind. But money can't buy you specific things like health, life, true love, morality, contentment. Many wealthy people are discontent. Money can't buy you real happiness or dignity, honor, decorum, or greatness. Money can't buy that. Although, ironically, Jake is trying to purchase what Tyson already has, prestige, but to no avail. A futile undertaking. Jake simply hasn't realized how limited and confined his money really is. There is a few cultures and individuals in the world who still can't be bought and would call what happened last weekend degrading, humiliating, and a losing of face. In Japan, for example, there is the concept of losing face. To build up a person in front of others can be said to give face. The point is, face can be given or earned, like respect. It can also be taken away or lost. I say that to say this. To some people, there's no amount of money in the world that you can offer them to lose their status, respect, or value. Not only for themselves, but for the people they represent, i.e. family, friends, clans, tribes, and fans. It's not only Asian cultures, but most people around the world would balk, recoil at such a display of their aging hero, champion, being displayed in such a way, particularly martial communities. Which reminds me, Beterbiev now wants to ravage, then devour Jake for what many from his culture will see as a dishonourable offence. Rightly so. Does Tyson even have real close trusted friends? Surely a good friend would talk him out of such a debacle, especially knowing he was near death a few months ago and had to have so many blood transfusions. Everybody wants their cut. They got to get paid up in here. The culture is vicious, ruthless, and cruel. That's every man for himself mentality. Maybe there's a time and a place for that. I don't know. I have to reiterate, there is no other nation in the world that I can think of that would tolerate their old champion being treated like this, regardless of what he wanted. It wouldn't be up to him. Some people need saving from themselves. Most people around the world were rightly sickened and let down by it all. The penny dropped when we saw the ancient warrior bravely hobbling around the ring, labouring to capture his prey. A travesty. We got sucked in by an ignoble Gen Zer looking for the next grotesque and bizarre stunt to beguile the foolish. Welcome to Disneyland. I suppose if you don't honour yourself, no one else will.
Shame on you, shame.
Logan Paul was asked in the ring in front of Tyson and tens of thousands of people in the venue and the millions at home if he'd fight Mike. And he said, in such a contemptible, dismissive way, I'd kill him. Let that sink in. He probably would, seeing the way Mike looked. But where's the respect? Simon Jordan said something interesting. He said Jake and Logan wasn't respecting Mike. They were pitying him.
Son of a bitch! You done messed up, Aaron!
Let that sink in. I personally don't think it was worth it for Tyson. I'm surprised he sold what he had so cheaply. Question. If so many people showed up and paid to watch and see Mike Tyson, will they turn up again? Of course not.
That says fool me once, shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
That ship has sailed. The mystique has been squandered. Anyway, thanks for listening. Please subscribe. But remember, choose life.
That's a great combination.